Have you taken her for a walk before?
No, and I'm sure she's not gonna be like excited about this first time. Come on. No. Come on. Okay. And put her head through this. There we go. And we put like a leg through here. No, no, come. And and we, does this go on the bottom or the top? How does this work? I don't know, bro.
Where did you find her?
I got her at like an adoption thing. Come on, no. Gotcha. Okay. Wait. There you go. All right. Oh wait, I need. I'll just leave. I'll just leave the door unlocked. Oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna abandon you. We're just going outside. It's okay. It's okay. I promise. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. She's a little scared. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
She's like, what is going on right now?
Start beating. Maybe I should just hold it. All right. First time Lemon and I are coming out. I'm pretty sure I put. She slipped her leg out of it. Come on. And she runs away. I'm gonna put her other leg back in. There we go. There we go.
Would you want to sit like in the sun here? Like,
Chair. She's not very excited. I don't know if she's excited.
she's apprehensive for sure.
She looks so much healthier than when I first got her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks so sickly and miserable. She was so needy at that time. She would come and like I'm not like a touchy person.
Yeah.
So she would come and she would like be on top of me and I'd be like, okay, fine, you've been through some trauma, you've like been abandoned by your original owners or whatever. And the original caretakers, they're not, you can't own. Ownership is weird. Pet ownership is weird. Like, she's like my roommate in a lot of ways, even though she doesn't contribute in any way. Well, that's not true. If we get a mouse or like bugs or something, that's when she's gonna contribute. But as of now, she's a non-contributing partner in this relationship. I'm gonna tie this up, okay, Lemon? So that I don't have to, so that if you run away, you know. All right, there we go.
She's chained in.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I want to get her a collar and just let her go out and just like do her own thing. And then, I don't know, maybe get like a button that I can press or that she can press where she's like, hey, I want to come back in.
That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah. But she's, I don't want to say she's the dumb cat, but she hasn't shown like, she doesn't like change. I got her a new like, I left my coffee inside. I got her a new like water thing so that I don't have to refill her water or whatever, so it's just like flowing water. She, for like 2 days, she looked at me like, where's my water at? And I'm like, I've seen you drink water out of the toilet. Like, stop pretending like you've got, and she just looks at it, and she looks at me, and she goes, wow. And I'm like this, like that look. Like, just like facing the other way, but just like, this is your first time outside. Can you hear the birds? Can you hear the, like, look at those ears. Well, that's that, but.
Do you want to say, what your name is and where you're from?
Oh, hello. My name is Mujo Johnson. I'm from New Manhattan, New York, Harlem, or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. It was a fun time growing up. I really want to leave Philadelphia.
You do?
Yeah, I want to leave Philadelphia. I've wanted to leave for years.
Where do you want to go?
Oh, did you say me too or you do?
I said you do.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I mean, probably me too.
Yeah. I love Philadelphia. I think it's my favorite city, but I've just been here too long and I have like a wanderlust.
Yeah.
And like, you know, being stable is like something I'm forcing on myself, which is not fun.
Yeah.
Stability is not fun.
No, it's boring.
Yeah, but the opposite of stability can be really bad, you know? The
Yeah.
chaos can be like not fun, especially when, you know, I've got to take care of people and whatever.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to the south.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want to go to the south, or that's like I don't know where in the south, because I don't know, maybe like Nashville,
Yeah.
Tennessee, music scene.
Exactly.
Like probably great food. I liked New Orleans when I was there. New Orleans. My grandfather's from New Orleans. That would be interesting. New Orleans Johnsons. Oh, even though my name is Mujo Johnson, most people call me Mujo, unless I'm in like a work setting. But yeah, I would go to Washington or the UK.
Ooh.
Recently, Finland has joined the list. Just because I like the rain. Yeah, I really dig the rain.
I like it too.
Yeah, some people don't like the rain, and I'm just like, the rain is awesome. It's such a, I don't know, there's probably some trauma associated with it. I'm guessing, I don't know that for sure.
Like you were traumatized in the rain.
Or I was traumatized and the rain was there. I don't know, to block out the noise, or, I don't know, I'm guessing. Like, it's probably a stupid guess.
I don't know. How were you traumatized?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
You don't know.
I have no idea, this is just a guess. Because I have a habit of blocking that stuff out. I've realized recently, like, I was talking to one of my friends and I was like, oh, I don't have emotions today. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, today I don't have emotions. Like, it's something that happens. Apparently it happens when you get depressed. Like, it's a really common
Oh yeah.
symptom of depression. You just don't have emotions. And I realized for me, it's not necessarily depression. It's like trauma. Like if I go through something that is going to be like detrimental to like me doing the, you know, stable thing, then I just stop feeling. And because I don't have time for it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got broken up with, I'm gonna go to work and cry and be like, I don't wanna do. No, I don't have time for that, right? Like, so it just shuts down and then I just don't feel anything. I mean, to say I don't feel anything is incorrect. Like, if you chop off my foot, I would have pain. But pain isn't an emotion to me.
That's
like,
physical.
Yeah, it's like pain, hunger, on some levels like horniness. These aren't emotions. Like happiness is an emotion. Like sadness is an emotion. I don't know.
What makes you happy?
Really everything. Like usually I can watch paint and I'll be happy, but like just looking at the trees or coming outside or playing video games, like really anything can make me happy.
You said you want to become a politician?
Yes. I think there's so many, everyone who wants to become a politician has to on some level be like narcissistic. Like number one, you have to believe you can do it, and that's
Yeah.
just a severe popularity contest.
Yeah.
So you got to be like, I can be really popular, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm like people won't hate my face. People won't hate that. Like no politician's gonna get elected if they sound like this, right? Like maybe in England you could be a politician if you sound like that, but really you have to be on some level vain. Maybe narcissistic isn't the right word, but vain, like indulgent of your own self-image or worth or something like that.
Yeah.
Cocky, maybe just have an ego.
So you like your image.
No, I hate myself. But I think other people like me, and I think I can be charming.
Yeah.
But I think I can do good for people. I've definitely been like on the I've at least seen the full breadth, not the full breadth, but like a wide swath of like what it is like to live in America. You know, I was poor. My parents were on food stamps and welfare. I come from a huge family.
How many siblings again?
I have 12 siblings, so I
12.
have 6 sisters and 6 brothers. My sister tells jokes about me in her comedy shows.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Sometimes she asks me if it's okay. I'm like, I don't care.
What does she joke about?
The one joke was one of the first jokes is like that she thought I was her gay brother, but it turns out I wasn't. It's a terrible retelling of that joke, but I'm not gonna really like try and do her bit.
Does that offend you that she thinks of you as gay?
You know how many people think I'm gay? You know, that's number one. And number two, to be offended by people thinking I'm gay would mean I would think that there's something offensive about being gay.
Right.
Right? So,
Yeah.
no. I'm totally...
That's good.
Like, it's whatever. Like, who cares? Yeah, so she does comedy. She's like she's already she's the most famous person I know.
What's her name?
Zainab Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look her up.
Yeah. She's hilarious. She's a very Muslim woman, and let's say a modern Muslim American woman. She's not like hijabbed up and like all that other stuff. Although some people argue that's cultural. But don't tell the Middle Eastern Muslims that. She talks about the haram police. They'll come after her. She'll be like, the haram police are coming after me because I like showed my stomach, and so they're like, haram, you can't do that. And she's like, chill, like it's not that big a deal.
Well, anyway, back to you. So, what are you gonna change when you become a politician?
I think my stance is, and it's somewhat nuanced. I'm a liberal who hates liberal policies. I think every liberal policy has been garbage. Not every, but I think most of them have been like let's take for instance welfare.
Yeah.
My parents were on welfare. That's I think that there's some validity in feeding people who can't feed themselves. Some validity. I don't think they should have supported 13 fucking kids. Like that's insane that the government doesn't foot any bill. The working class foot that bill, right? Like they're the ones whose labor and resources went to feeding my family. My dad had a job, but he couldn't afford to feed us all. Like, so it was extremely irresponsible of them to have that many kids, knowing that the government would support them. You know, they knew the government would support them, and so they were enabled to a certain extent. I kind of want to just let her go, but I'm afraid she's gonna run into the street and get hit by a car. So the only, outside of most cases, the major, let's say, reason for welfare should be to move people from the poor class into the working class. If that is not the stated and effective goal of welfare, then welfare is a failure, because now we've got generations of people. We talk about generational wealth. We have generations of people who are in like this second-class citizen poverty, and you know, liberals, especially Democrat, neoliberals, whatever, they don't really want to get rid of that, because when people stop being poor, they stop voting liberal, right? They stop voting. Like I know a lot of foul weather socialists. Foul weather socialists is like, I'm a socialist as long as my situation is bad. But if I get rich and I see that 30, 40, 50% taxes, when I see them numbers, I look at my paycheck and I'm like, 30%? Ugh, yikes! Ooh. Oh my god! Oh my god! And I'm not like 30% fine. Take 50% if you're gonna use it well. But like, you know, we just use it to maintain welfare, generational welfare, to start wars in a million countries, and to, I mean, really those two things. Like if we stop those two things, we wouldn't even really have to tax bajillionaires. I'm for that, but like, we wouldn't have to if we just didn't do stupid things. Like, yeah. Like, but then it's like, you know, you start messing with people's welfare. They start like, they're like, you know, there's a lot of single mothers out there, but single mothers are enabled by welfare. Like, they wouldn't become single mothers if they thought welfare wasn't, if like, same as my parents, they would not have had 13 children if they didn't think that they could afford, they're not going to watch their children, or their children would have started to die and they would have gotten the message, you know? So that's what I mean when I'm like, I'm a kind of anti-liberal liberal. Like, there's so many things like that. Welfare is one of the easy ones to talk about. Money, like, the situation's terrible, and like especially like in the Black community, we've got like 80% of children in our community are born out of wedlock. And you can say, let's take away 10% of that and say like there are 10% of those people who are in like long-term non-government marriages. I think 10% is a more than fair amount to give to that group of people. So then you're talking about 70% of people who are in a situation where they're no good. They're like living off, and so the way the system works is there's what I like to call a black hole, and that black hole is when you're on welfare. So not only does our welfare system not encourage growth, it actually discourages it. So if you're on welfare, you don't have a job, you've got 2 kids, whatever, your kids become 5 years old, you're now capable of working because you have like 6-7 hours in the day to go get a job. The job you can get, let's say it makes $15 an hour, you know? Once you get that job that makes $15 an hour, you start to lose things. You lose your Section 8, you start to lose your free phone, you lose your free internet, you lose your free health. It's not free, once again, it's put by the working class. You start to lose those benefits, and the total amount yearly for those benefits is actually quite a bit. Like, and so you're making $15 an hour, and what is that, $30K a year before taxes, so let's say $25K after taxes. It's like you're putting in all this time, and that's if you can get $15 an hour. That's not, what's minimum wage? Like, you're like...
Somewhere, I mean, it depends on the state. I forget how much here.
So, I mean, realistically, like 10 or 12, I mean, you can target hiring for like 15, I think. So you can do that. 40 hours a week, are you going to be able to do that? I don't know, because there's like, you still got to get to your kids in the morning, get to them in the afternoon. This is the assumption of a single mother. But you lose so much, and you're also losing that 40 hours a week that you had before.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I do that? Like, what? No,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't encourage. So you just get the amount you would losing your housing. Like, if you lose your housing, like, that's what is that? Like, let's say, how much is the average one bedroom in Philadelphia? It's probably like 1,200.
Yeah.
So if it's and that's it's not a regular one bedroom in like a super nice area. That's like that's let's say it's regular. Let's say 1,200 is regular. If you want something better, you're probably looking at 2.5, whatever. But I think the average for one bedrooms in Philly is 1,200.
So you got yourself out of this poverty. Like, you're doing pretty well.
Well,
right?
Yeah, ish. I went to the military, and the military is a great mechanism for transferring people from poor to working class. But I think it's also my family. Like, I had my dad. I don't know if, like, that's the only thing I can see that's like the difference between me and like some of my friends who are still like in this cycle of poverty. Is that my dad was there.
What did he do for you?
It's hard to say because I don't know what it's like not having it. I was talking to a friend of mine, and like, she was like, I can only talk from like the being protected. I was watching this, and I don't know how true this is. I was watching this like documentary or something, and it was like interviewing like a predator. And the predator, he was like, someone was like, well, how do you choose your prey? And he was like, well, first I look for a dad. If there's a dad there, I skip. Like, easy.
Ooh.
Yeah, boom. I'm not gonna deal with that. I don't want a grown man. I don't want to have to deal with that. So if I see a single mother, like, that's prey. And he was a child predator, so like, he was pretty bad. And so there's some level of protection. There's some level of like normalcy to it.
A role model,
yeah, yeah. So, but it's really hard for me to, and I think it's really hard for our culture to really quantify why is it that people with dads have these outcomes and people, like, statistically, we're not even talking about me here. Why is it that people with dads have these outcomes and the people without dads don't have these outcomes? And everyone's like, nobody knows. We look, it's like mom spends all the time with the kids, mom feeds, mom da 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 da. So what is this difference that, like, if you eliminate all other factors, like, single dads have better outcomes than single mothers? Like, statistically, it's crazy. Like,
what kind of a relationship do you have with your dad?
he's dead now.
Okay.
But he's I don't know. It's hard for me to. I don't know what difference. Like, I don't know what to compare it to. Like,
Were you close with him?
Yeah, he was a really smart person. He would always tell me things like, if you studied half as much as you played video games, you'd be a rich billionaire. And I was like, yeah, Dad, but I'd rather play video games. And he just leaves. He's like, there's nothing. He would also say, and this is probably some, like, a little ringing in my ear, he would also say, if it wasn't for your mother, we'd be rich. I'm like, okay, Dad, well then, why don't you just make her stop spending money, like, irresponsibly? And he's like, well, I choose to be married, and stopping her, she would divorce me. And I'm like, I get it. As a divorcee, I get it now. I get it. I'm like, oh, I get it. So, like, while I was married, I think that, like, was ringing in my ears. So, like, when I would see, like, my ex-wife doing things, I'd be like, what are you doing? Stop. No, we're not doing that. And I think I diminished her power in our relationship a lot. I don't think I did. I did. And eventually she was like, nah, I'm okay. And that's how I'm divorced.
So she spent too much money, you think?
My ex or my mom?
Your ex.
No, I didn't let her. But she was, I think most people are really not capable of directing their own life. Like, life happens to them. They don't make decisions and like go for it. It's just like, this was my circumstance, and this is my circumstance, and this is just like how my life is gonna be. You know, there's not really like it's like a destiny, almost. You know, I think a lot of people have that kind of attitude, and their decision. Maybe it's not an attitude, but it's a style of decision making. Like, I'm gonna make decisions that are in line with the life I've already been given. But it's really hard because I watch people like, and I see them make decisions that aren't in their best interest, and I'm like, if you just do this, like, you won't end up back in that cycle. And I've actually gotten, like, a lot of people have like come to me and thanked me like for my intervention. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you couldn't see that though. Like, that's the perplexing part to me, because it's like, this is obvious to me. Recently, a friend of mine, Joey, like, you know Joey, like, he was living with me for a while, and I didn't let him go easy. Like, I think he wanted to like just chill and relax and like let life happen. And I was like, nah, like, why aren't you doing these things? Like, let's go. And he eventually got tired of me. He went back to his dad. His dad did the same thing, but a little more caring, because he was his dad. Like, I'm like, you're in my space, I need you to make moves.
Yeah.
But his dad is like, you're my son, like, I want you to, but still, what is your, and he thanks me all the time. He's like, bro, like, I don't know what I was doing, like, just thank you, like, so much. Yeah, I was pretty hard on him. Like, I was mean. But, like, the things he was doing, I was like, why aren't you doing these things? Like, not to get into specific details, that's, like, I've already spoken too much on, like, what might be a personal topic for him. But I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's fine.
Because he has a job now, right? So he's doing pretty good.
And he's making moves. Yeah, he's doing really good.
And you're an engineer, right?
Yes. Yes. Right now I'm working as a team lead for PHMC. They're like a public health management corporation. My degree is in like biomedical engineering, but like informatics, machine learning, that kind of stuff. But really, I just, like, whenever I go to work, the only thing I say is like, let's build cool shit. Like, I don't want to get into the weird politics or the weird person. You know, at work you do have to cut off a lot of who you are. Like, a lot of my personality gets left at home. For the greater benefit of increasing for the greater benefit of like building cool shit, you know? Building cool shit is what it's all. I mean, some people don't get to build cool shit. Some people get to like keep the cogs moving, and that's also valuable. In fact, without the cogs turning, I can't build cool shit. Like, if you weren't making, like, I have so much respect and admiration, and I think we've lost a lot of that for just the working class. Just the, you know, during COVID, like, we had a spark of just a little bit of the appreciation we have for what they call them, like necessary workers. What were they
Essential
called?
workers.
Essential workers, right? Like, the people who, if they stop work, that's how you know your job is important. Like, they were like, hey, we can't, you have to keep working. So these are people who work at grocery stores, people who take out the fucking trash, these are the important jobs, you know, like all the other jobs kind of just my job for a lot of people went away. It was like, that's not an important job. Like, I mean, it's important for progress, but like progress doesn't matter if right now you can't eat. So like trash men, you know, maintenance people, electricians, like without these people, like our society stops and we all die. Most of like 90% of us die. There are some people who are completely capable of living in the woods and drinking water, but there's not enough resources. Like, we've industrialized the distribution and manufacturing of resources so that it can accommodate a population of 350 million or whatever. So without that industrialization, we all go back to like fighting over this one berry because this guy's not making 1 million berries anymore. Like, you know, it's like, well, this berry's happening naturally. It's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying.
What do you think of what is it called, like post-capitalist luxury communism or something like that?
I've never even heard of that. It sounds absurd. No system is perfect. So, like, every system is absurd. Our system is absurd. It's just people that make the system work. You know, there are probably systems that require less intervention than other systems, but like, it's not, I don't think, like, the inherent benefit of democracy or like semi-democracy that we have is, I mean, we've like, you know, did some costs and, you know, some like trade-offs for like a system that kind of does a few things. Like, we want a fast-acting system because we want like a system that, you know, can react to things. Pure democracy is extremely slow, like extremely slow, right? Like, can you imagine? Like, number one, we would have to completely filter out who can vote, right? Like, we wouldn't really be able to say like everybody gets to vote. I know that sounds, we already do that, right? Like, teenagers can't vote.
Well, that's true.
Right. So not everyone gets to vote.
People felons can't vote.
Right. In some places.
Okay.
In other places they do get to vote, but like, we do filter out like the voter base and like what would be a fair way to do that. I don't know. Some people are like only people who've joined the military. These are military people probably. Only people who have joined the military or have done some sort of service get to vote.
Ooh.
And that's an interesting one. Like, that's, I mean, basically any healthy person can join the military. Like, and it is a civic responsibility. Not everyone doesn't have to do it, but if nobody does it, then we get a draft. And then, like, how old are you? 18? You going to college? No? Yes? Draft. Come. Let's go fight a war.
Can we get back to, if you don't mind, what do you do in your day-to-day, like on a weekend? How do you like to spend your weekends?
On a weekend, I don't like to relax. Like, relaxing is something I don't really want to do. Well, I like to just do things. So I want to build stuff. I want to like cook things. I want to try things. I want to have parties. I want to like go out and rage all night long until 7 in the morning, and then wake up and cook brunch for everybody, and then but unfortunately, you know, temporally, financially, physically, I'm a human, and you know, limited by all those things and all the other limits that are there. So I try to, you know, do 1 or 2 things a weekend. I think tonight I might be going out, like get a slice of pizza. I don't like dating, but it's like a necessary thing. really hate dating. I really, really don't like it.
What don't you like about it?
Oh my God. Do people like dating? Do people like dating?
I don't know. I don't. A lot of people don't.
Like, I don't get it. I don't really understand dating. Like,
I'm beginning to think that if you go on one date and then just like, be like, oh yeah, I had a good time, and wait until you like somehow run into them or the universe reconnects you, like you kind of keep them in your basket,
oh my God,
you know?
that's so. That's relying on. So that works if you are a consistent person.
Okay.
So if you like go to the same coffee shop every day,
Mm-hmm.
there's a good chance that'll happen. If you take the same train every day, if you do something consistently, but I'm all over the place. Like tonight, I could be, hanging with, doctors at a conference. And then next Friday, I could be, hanging with stoners underneath a bridge. And so I'm not really gonna see either of those. And then it'll be like months before I see group A or group B again, or years or whatever. Like, so it's like, and I don't really date my friends. So it's like people are like, oh, just like, I'm like, how can I, it's like dating a sibling. For me, a lot of people do it. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, there are, trade-offs. You get to, you already know that you like the person, but then you're risking like the relationship you have for something new. And since I've literally broken up with every person I've ever been with up to this, not that I've broken up with them, but like we've broken up.
Yeah.
It's not a good track record for dating my friends. And the people that break up with me, they don't like me. They are not fans. They are like, my ex-wife recently, in the middle of laughing while we were talking about something, she was like, I hate you, right? And I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Is there like a certain pattern for what goes wrong?
No, I don't think so. I mean, clearly the common denominator is me. There are definitely people that are happily in long-term relationships, right? So clearly, like, either I'm picking them wrong, or when I pick them, I mean, keeping up with me is the whole thing. Like, it's rare for a person to be able to keep up with me in terms of just like, both like work, in terms of extracurriculars, in terms of like all these things. So I tend to find people who are good at like one thing or the other. Like they're like really supportive of like, like housewifey kind of deal. They're really supportive of like me and a job and da 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 da. But then when it's like, okay, well let's go out and party, they're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, oh. And then you can't force them because they're a stick in the mud. They're just out there just being like, I didn't really want to come here. Hey, they're those kind of people. You see them out sometimes, and then it's like, oh, don't leave me. I don't want to be here alone. It's like, you're a stick in the mud that I can't leave. Like, and you can't leave them at home because then it just doesn't work.
So you want a housewife who likes to party. That's your ideal.
I don't know. Maybe. I just want someone who can, I don't really have like an ideal like that. I just want someone who can like meet me at all those levels.
Yeah.
Or like reciprocate at all those levels. Like, I guess, like
Yeah.
okay, she's a housewife that loves to party, but then I like to throw dinner parties. Can she do that? Like, can she be supportive of that? Is she gonna be like, I don't like people in my space. Why do we have to have these people? And it's like, oh my God, just go away. Like, just do it. Just do what like. I think with my ex, which I suppose is my ex-wife, my most successful relationship. She was 8 years older than me, and so I think she enjoyed the power dynamic of dating a younger man. Because I think we were married when I was like 20, and
Wow.
But by the time I was like 25, I was like, not consciously, but like just the way things unfolded was I was just better at directing life than her. And so I began to make all the decisions. And in order to regain some of that power, she started to become manipulative. And so let's say we modeled our relationship in a very liberal 50-50 way, which I'll never do again. There's too much deadlock. There's too much like, I want to do this, I want to do this. Well, until we agree, we can't do either. So it's like, well, how do we figure it? And then there's like, someone's got to give up. So I'll never have another relationship, like romantic or like business. There's no, like, if we're going to be like an equal partnership, there's got to be three of us, because we need someone to break the tie. We need someone to be like, but then that power that person effectively becomes the leader of the relationship. And if there's consistent, like, you know, I'm going to do A, I'm going to do B, well, whoever C sides with is the leader of the relationship, kind of. I mean, I'm sure it can work out well. That's why I don't really mess around with polyamory. It's like, whatever.
Do you prefer to be the sub or the dom? I guess the dom?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yes. But I definitely want a good advisor, you know? Someone who sees things differently than me, who can be like, hey, you're missing this obvious thing that I'm seeing. And, you know, I would definitely value their opinion, and it would definitely change the way I move, but I would still ultimately be the one making the decisions. And
Who would be this person? Sorry.
I'll tell you when I meet her. I'll let you know. Right now I'm single, so she's not. I mean, really, I'm single because like I'm paying like a lot of money in like alimony and child support, and so it's hard to like I want to save up. I was looking at my finances and I was like, man, I can only save $1,500 a month. Oh man. And I was so disappointed and upset at like this situation that I can only save, like being really tight with myself. Not really, like living a little bit, but not really doing all that I want to do, like not investing the way I want to invest, not like making the moves I want to make. And I'm like, oh man, I can only save $1,500 a month. And then I'm like, I'm pretty sure most people don't save $1,500 a month. But once again, I'm better at directing my life than, like, don't compare me to most people. Like, I'm definitely, like, I definitely believe most people aren't good at directing their own life, that making these decisions, like, they just go with the flow. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
How do you think you figured out how to direct your life so well?
I'm always a critical thinker. I'm a very critical thinker. Like, I'm always the person with like contradictory ideas, and like sometimes I don't even believe those ideas. Like, but I do explore them, and in exploring them, it's like, oh, this would totally work. Like, you should not do this, which is like, you know, prophetically, like I can see like this is gonna give you these results most likely, unless you're lucky. Like, you know, I see people doing this all the time where they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, no, that's not gonna work out for you. Like, look at the numbers. Like, don't look at me. Like, look at the numbers. Look at your own experience. Look at like how this has turned out. Look at your own self. Do you think that this is gonna work out for you? And they're like, yeah, it's gonna work out for me. And I'm like, no, do this. Do that. One of my best friends, he's married because like I like directed him a little bit, and he can't. Some people though, and Dumas in the Three Musketeers, he says never give advice, because the people you give advice to, either one, they won't listen. Two, if they try to listen, or even if they don't, they'll blame you for what went wrong. And so sometimes my friend will ask for advice, and then he'll just implement it in the weirdest way, and I'll be like, why did you do that? And he'll get bad results, and I'll be like, why did you do that? Yeah, so why am I good? I think it's just critical thinking. I think it's critical thinking and like a willingness. Like some people are unwilling to explore taboo ideas because once again, it's easier to be part of a pack, which we all want to be. You know, we all want to be part of a pack. We all want to be partnered up. We all want to be like together, and we all need to be part of a pack. Like, you know, back in the day, I'm saying quite ignorantly because I don't exactly know when or like if this is actually true, but you would get banished, right? That's like the Romeo and Juliet. Romeo got banished, and that was a death sentence. Like, you need people. I don't know what exactly banishment meant in Italy in 1200, whatever the hell that was written, or 1400, whatever. But banishment, you no longer have society. You no longer have the trash man. You no longer have like your family. You're banished. You're out of here, bro. Like, so we not only do we want those things, we absolutely need them.
Is there a taboo? What's a taboo opinion that you have?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Or if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
Let's see, what's a taboo opinion that I have? For me, they're not taboo. For other people, the ones I'm talking, well, it's hard for me to know because I'm so just like open that sometimes someone will be like, that's taboo. I think right now I'm anti-feminist, just the same way I'm anti-liberal. I think a lot of people don't understand the nuance of when I say like anti-feminist things, because I want women's lives to improve and to get better, and to like, for women and everyone really to be happy. I just don't think, after reading like a lot of the feminist like literature, I don't think that is the way to go. I think a lot of it is born of hatred of men and trauma. Yeah. Like trauma probably brought on by a man or men, and oftentimes your own undirected decisions. One of my really good friends, I look at the men she likes, and I'm like, no, he's a trash person. Like, let me tell you, he's a trash person. Like, I don't know if you understand. And she's like, no, but I love him. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying that like he's not gonna be a millionaire. I'm not saying that like he's like, not gonna take you and be romantic. I'm saying he's a trash person.
What does that mean?
It's different. It's different for every. Really, it's not him. It's not like this person as an individual. It's more like he doesn't like her. And I'm like, he doesn't like you, and that's why you're getting treated like this. And she's like, well, I'm just gonna keep pursuing this. And I'm like, well, he doesn't like you, and he's never gonna like you. And she's like, well, why does he talk to me? And I'm like, and she's like, well, then why do we have sex? And I'm like, I don't know if this is like talking to a 13-year-old girl. Like, I don't know how to explain to you that men like sex. Like, I don't know how to get you to understand that. And then, like, at some point she's like, oh, I hate men are trash, da da da. And I'm like, no, that was your decision to pursue this guy who did not like you. Like, and I told you he didn't like you, and it's obvious to everyone else that he doesn't like you. I'm the only one that's willing to take the heat to tell you he doesn't like you. Like, because nobody else wants to tell her. Everyone else is like, oh, no, just maybe if he's like, oh, maybe, maybe you should look at, no, he doesn't like you. He does not like you. Stop putting energy in that direction. And I know I've been in love. Like, you can't really get rid of that easily. But on your, like, sometimes you gotta engineer them out. You gotta delete them, block them, curse at them, tell them they ain't shit, get them out of your life. Like, make sure that you can't go back. like engineer them out of your existence.
If she doesn't leave, what's gonna happen?
She's gonna waste her life pursuing someone who has no interest. If he gets bored one day, he might give her a relationship. He's gonna cheat on her and treat her poorly. If she happens to catch this person because she's patient enough, and he might need money one day and think, oh, if I get married, he might need health insurance. He might need something that she has. She'll be too blind to his need. He'll pursue that relationship because she's easy, because she's been pursuing him forever, wasting all that energy, and so she gets him, and then it's a terrible relationship. And she's wondering, like, once she's in the relationship for a few years and the googly eyes have worn off, she's like, why isn't he why we're boyfriend and girlfriend, why isn't he treating me better? He never liked you.
How do you know that? How could you tell that you didn't like her?
The way he treats her.
Okay.
Like, it's obvious. Like, he's not this isn't one human being. Like, this is a lot of women I deal with, and a few men I deal with, although men don't really, like, I don't know that many men who have been in love. Like, so it's a harder feeling. I think it's more persistent in us, though. I think it's like, once we do fall in love, like, it's not even my theory. It's like, what do they call it? The men's first love theory. Like, men love once and then never again. I don't think that's 100% true. I think it's more that, like, it's harder for us to fall in love because we're so driven by our lust that, like, to like quell that, we're willing to deal with someone that we don't love. And then the practicals of the situation. It's like, okay, my lust is, like, satisfied, and the practicals of the situation are satisfied. Like, you're not a complete burden. Like, that's good enough. Like, but you know, it's like finding love. That's like, okay, you fall in love with someone. Now does she love you back? Like, it's so rough, you know?
Yeah.
Or he, whatever you're into. And so a lot of, a lot of men are just, end up just, you're hot and you're practical. Like, that's the most I can hope for, is hot and practical. Or, like, the most attractive looking and practical person that I can achieve is, I think, what most men are looking for, and not really love. We use those words, love, like, but if you when I talk to my guy friends in, like, closed doors, most of them have not experienced, like, love. Maybe the first time they experience love is when they have kids. Like, and that's not romantic love. That's like not including the, like, you can't count the love of your parents, because that's something that's with you for your whole life if you have it. Like, it's not like, it's like me trying to talk about what my dad did. I don't know what other dads did. It was just, he's just there. Like, I can tell you specific things, but I don't know how that's different or, like, quantifiable or comparable to other people. I think that's the same with, like, your parents' love. Like, if you have it, it's just, like, there, and you don't even recognize it or think about it or anything like that. So it's different. And then, like, so for most men, the first time they feel love is, like, when they have a child. And it's like, oh, I get it now. That makes sense. Oh, okay, love. All right, I got this. Okay, cool. Like, genuinely, I think most men, that's the first time they feel, like, love, like, that, like, blossoming.
You have children, right?
Yes.
And what are they like?
They're really smart. They're really tall. There's 3 of them. So there's, like, they are just amazing people, and they're better than me, which is more than I can hope for. Like, it's like what every parent wants, right? It's for most parents. Is for the children to be better. Like, I would suffer my ex again. Low key, like, my kids are so dope, I'd make a number 4 with her. Like, I don't, she's probably going through menopause or something like that, but, like, But like definitely, like we created 3 really amazing children.
How old are they?
One's turning 15 in like 3 days. What's today? The 12th. She turned. It's 2 days. What's this? Today the 12th.
I think so.
Yeah. The other is just turned 13 in the end of March, and the other one just turned 9 in May.
Wow.
So yeah, they're like at that age, they're becoming humans. Like they're becoming aware. They're asking me questions. Like they're getting their own personality. The 13-year-old is driving her mother. She's a genius, and she's driving her mother nuts, and like just absolutely driving her crazy, and like it's pretty funny. Because her mother she's fine. She's like average intellectually. Like I don't prize intellect above everything else. Like I think that intellect is really nice. I think it's helpful to get the world moving forward in a way, but you know, I'm not like I don't think intellect is the most important thing in the world. Health probably is.
We have like 4.5 minutes left. Is there anything you want to say to the world?
We've been all over the place, right? Like, I don't know. You know, hopefully I'm bringing more good than bad. You know, hopefully I'm not hurting too many people in whatever pursuits I have. Ultimately, I want to do, and I don't want to be good, but I want to do good. And you know, let's continue to, I mean, the world we live in is amazing, right? Like when you stop complaining and thinking about your own life for 1 second and look around, like this is pretty cool. I mean, life in general, just living is pretty amazing, but like the world we live in, this is amazing. Like look at, you're on a phone recording. This is amazing. And so just like appreciate life if you can. You know, sometimes we get into these situations where it's like we get depressed, but you know, just sit down and take a moment to appreciate the journey. Don't be too destination oriented. Yeah.
Yeah. You think we're gonna go to outer space?
Humans can do whatever we want. The question is, will we destroy ourselves before we do so? So we have so much potential that's untapped to like do things, but we also have the potential to destroy ourselves, and so it's a race to see which happens first.
Yeah.
And you know, there's definitely, I think we're gonna come up with mechanisms that encourage the creativity part and discourage the destructive parts. I don't know how or when that's going to happen. I know people respond to negativity more positively than they respond to positivity, unfortunately. So that's like something we're going to have to overcome as like humans, just like, you know, that. But there's enough good people out there who are like selfless enough that, you know, there's like the 2020s, the mid 2010s to the mid 2020s, which we're in right now, have been like really focused on like pettiness. I don't like it. Like it's like, let's be petty, let's get revenge, I'm gonna be the worst person. It's like, that's disgusting. Like, let's try to be positive, let's try to do the good thing, let's try to, you know, be the better person. Like it's hard to be the better person when you're dealing with someone who's being petty, you know? It's really like, you know, in court you lose, in social life you lose, like you, but you lose personally, but you maintain your integrity, and if you believe in your soul or your spirit or whatever, like you maintain that by being the better person. By going below, you actually tarnish yourself more than you tarnish the other person, who may or may not even care. You know, somebody, like I cut someone off in traffic and they're like getting upset. Like I didn't mean to make you upset. Like But now, like, your whole world is focused on getting revenge on a person that doesn't even care, you know? Like, this really happened to me. Like, I cut someone off, this was in Virginia, like, years ago. I cut someone off of traffic, and then, like, I don't know that I cut him off. I'm assuming that I cut him off, or I don't know. But he's driving beside me, screaming, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, bro, look ahead of you. There's a truck. And he's like, right before he hits a truck, he slams on the brake. If I didn't inform him, if I didn't, his whole life at that moment was about whatever slight I had done to him. And he almost died.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I didn't even know what I did, and I didn't even care. But I was just like, "You're gonna die." Like, chill.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, you know, be the bigger person, take the higher ground or whatever. Don't be petty.